In the White House, President Eisenhower signs the proclamation that makes Alaska's entry into the Union official, nearly 92 years after Lincoln's Secretary of State bought the territory from the Russian Tsar for $7 million.
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barneys Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barneys today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Superglue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They're the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Anchortown Dogs, located on 4th Avenue across from the old 4th Avenue Theater. Look for the blue and gold umbrella. From reindeer dogs to bomb euros, they've got you covered. Anchortown Dogs, your local gourmet hot dog and sausage cart.
Crude Magazine, Alaska-based media outlet using the last frontier as a springboard to discover larger truths about the cultures of our great state. Read more at crudemag.com.
Lawn Pro AK, Alaska's year-round professional property maintenance team. Services include snow and ice management, weekly lawn care, and more. Get your free estimate today at lawnproak.com.
Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Lady with a Plan, your own Alaska event planner. From scouting the perfect location to planning the tiniest details, specializing in event management and production for intimate social gatherings. Find Lady with a Plan on Instagram. Oh, I know. I got that picture today, and I'm like, excuse me? Ooh, nah.
Oh, nah.
That's
what we're talking about.
Annoying.
We just got pictures of snow in Cantwell and snow in Lake Louise, and of course, by the time this podcast comes out, I'm sure it's already hit. But we're recording this.
And hopefully, it's already melted.
Yeah, well, I'm excited because that means those animals start moving around and
it's going to get weird.
Get to grouping up and stuff. But I mean, that's sketchy if you're going into some areas.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fluke. It's way early, and this is gonna melt. But I was just thinking about the dudes that, like, maybe in the last 2 days have already gone up
for caribou.
For caribou.
Oh yeah, just got snowed on.
Yeah, or even in the area up in the mountains for sheep. I mean, you're gonna start your hunt off like sitting in the tent.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you gotta number one, wait for it to clear so you can see. Number two, you gotta wait for wherever your logistics for like up and down are, so it's safe to go back down.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to walk on snow.
Well, I've been saying everything's moved forward like 4 weeks, maybe even more. Because typically April's always been nice, and then May's kind of rainy. May was always nice, and then June, and then July, and then August was like rain. But then it just started raining right in July, so everything kind of like shifted. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm a believer in, I don't know, this is kind of a crazy, weird theory, but like earthquakes, volcanoes, impacts of Earth kind of like knock the Earth's axis off just like a hair. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, let's say, it's spinning like this and it's spinning around.
Sure.
And any little like earthquake or tsunami or something just shifts it just like that. And that little bit, you know what I'm saying, extends all the way to the outside where you get to the weather. And then that just becomes a new, like now where, I mean, as growing up, we used to get a lot of snow. As a kid, and now we don't. But now, like everyone that's in like Montana, Michigan, Boston, New York, like now they get tons of snow that like we used to get. So I mean, that's just my own little theory. I mean, there's like global warming and blah 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 blah, but it just seems like whenever there's a shift, obviously, like now we're just on a separate, like a slightly different axis. You know what I'm saying? Where we're turning just a little bit more southern.
Yeah, I was looking at earliest snowfall in Anchorage, I believe it's September 21st, 96. I was just curious. I wanted to look that up.
Well, it used to always be...
and we didn't get any snow in Anchorage today, but Cantwell, that's 228 miles north, and it is up in the elevation. At mile 228, that's...
That whole area, Lake Louise, all the way like directly across from that too.
It's all Denali area right there, Denana River.
I actually glanced up at the mountains today up in the Chugach thinking there might be some snow up there. Yeah. I didn't see any because it was like snowy and then it got cold. Like it was pretty cold last night.
Yeah, it was chilly.
It's been getting cold. Yeah. Like now we don't have the fan on in the bedroom. All the windows got closed to like, 1/3 of what they were. Because it's just like, I think the family had a fire last night when we were here recording.
Oh, yeah?
In the house. And they're like, oh, it's full. The blankets are coming out,
the couch blankets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I walked upstairs on Sunday morning.
I busted the Woobie out like 2 days ago. I just had like a 30 minute, like I was just do like a power nap, and I just like, and I was like cold, so I'm gonna get that wool out.
Just all like fetal position.
Yeah.
Where's my blankie?
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, let me. I'll show you the picture I won that contest. So I ended up winning. Kifaru used to do. I don't know if they still do it, but they used to do a photo contest, and you would win. First place would get something, and second place would get something. And I got second place, or maybe third place, the Woobie, and this was the picture that I won with, and that's on one of our float hunts.
Yeah,
me and Carlo, and that's obviously the picture of the 8-man tipi that he has.
Yeah, is that the sawtooth, or is the sawtooth the little one?
No, that's the 8-man tipi. The sawtooth is like the mix between like a tipi and a tent.
Yeah,
like the front is kind of teepee-ish, but then it like goes down to like
and you tent. And you won a Woobie?
Yeah, I won a Woobie.
Is the Woobie a Kifaru Woobie?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta look some shit up.
So the Woobie is pretty much like a quilt, Yeah, it's their version of a quilt, I think. But to me, it was like the perfect, just like couch family blanket,
Kifaru Woobie? I've heard you say it before.
Oh, I could look it up real quick too on here.
I'm
so
like,
people
what?
can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing is awesome. I love.
Oh, is it camo too?
Yeah, it's camo. Oh, you know it's camo.
Is it like a down fill or something?
Yeah, it's their fill. It's whatever their. It's the same as their sleeping bag. The same fill that they put in their.
Okay, so
their, like,
it's
jacket.
it's designed to replace the USGI poncho liner, and are much warmer.
The poncho liner.
Yeah, like I think you would use that as insulation inside your poncho.
Oh, okay.
If you're sleeping on the ground or whatever.
Oh, this one's called the doobie.
It's
this one?
Whoa.
The doobie?
Dubed up.
Maybe they switched it up.
Yeah, so it's got Apex insulation.
Okay. There's the Woobie and the weebie. Yes, I got the Woobie.
So what is that like? What's that the size of? And like what's that compared to the Woob?
I would say if you opened up like your if you opened up my extra large, extra wide, extra long Wiggies.
Oh, it's that big?
It's like that. And the same insulation. It's like
so
that.
So it's about the size of a 5-gallon bucket then.
Oh, when you stuff it?
Yeah, like
when you stuff it. Okay, when you stuff it, I would say it's like the size of maybe your marmot tent.
Okay.
Like kind of, about like this.
Cylinder. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like this, what it is? It's like the side of, when you go out on someone's boat and you put out the little thing, the buoy to block it from hitting the thing.
The bunker buoys.
It's like that size.
Okay, that's a really good comparison. Hit me with the photo with the homies.
This one?
Yeah, there it is. All right, cool, man.
Yeah, so I have.
So that would actually come in really handy if you were spiking, and you did like a lean-to tent, but you didn't want to pack a sleeping bag. But you just wanted to bundle up in that with your puffies on?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you'd probably be survival.
Yeah, that'd be good also for just like the early morning. You're going to just do that early morning moose and you want something.
Up there on the stool with the spotting scope with the Woobie on?
Yeah, just get woobed out. My kids love to get woobed out, man. Oh, no, yeah. Well, you'd probably be puffy and that.
Dude.
But another thing I forgot to mention that a little trick. I mean, it's dangerous, so be careful if you do this.
I know where you're going with this.
But if
fire danger.
Fire danger. If you have one of those little pocket rockets that MSR sells, which is like super tiny.
Don't try this at home, folks.
Yeah, try this in the field when your kids and wife aren't around. And so if you have like one of those ponchos, like Wiggy's sells, they're awesome, like huge rain poncho. It's just like, massive. Well, Carlo.
What was Eric saying? They don't make it anymore?
I don't know.
The poncho.
They don't?
Yeah, that's what he said.
But I'm sure there's other ponchos. There's lots of ponchos.
Oh, yeah, and you could find them anyway.
So anyway, you would take a poncho, and if you're doing your early morning, moose calling and whatever, when it's super early and you just got your coffee or late night, and he'll put that pocket rocket like between his feet. Like let's say he's sitting on the side of his glassing area or whatever, and he'll put that pocket rocket and light it on really low and just put it inside of the poncho, so it just like heats that thing up. Like,
oh man, that'd be so nice.
Just like on low, just like
put
hot.
Your hands down there.
But you would, be careful. You're gonna mount your.
Every time I put my poncho on glassing, I like kind of like situate myself where I'm like, how did he get that in here and not burn something? Like, just like spread his legs open good enough and like. Was he on like a tripod stool?
No.
One of those?
No. Just sitting on the side of a mountain.
Oh, sitting down on the ground.
Yeah, sitting down. Like if you're on an elevated something, you're kind of up and your feet are down low, and you kind of put it by your feet, and then you just kind of put the poncho out around it, and then just put it on low. And I'm sure there's some finagling to get it right, but it extends your want to sit there.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Big time.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hot
Would
tip.
recommend it.
Little
as
hot
far
tip.
as
hot tip. Little hot tip.
You got to pay attention, though.
Yeah. I mean, got to pay attention to sitting around the fireplace, too. That's why all my pants got holes in them.
True.
From the fire.
And too many cold shots?
Yeah. Well, I think mostly when you're burning.
Is that the buzzball night?
When you're. The buzzball night, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Well, when you're burning that spruce, man, it just pops. That spruce.
Yeah.
And especially now that there's so much of that, like spruce beetle
dry.
It's all dried up. It's holy. It's got like room to like air to move through there and just pop it when it blows, and then you just catch an ember. You know, you're not paying attention, and next thing you know, you burn your pants and your leg.
Yep.
So,
Watch
and
out.
then those nice, hunting pants just turn into camping pants. So then you gotta go buy a new pair.
Yep. Just add them to the stack.
These are hunting pants now. Yeah, all my pants got holes in them, like in the same spot, like right where you're right below my knee, because that's like by the fire.
Yeah, the
and
lowest
just,
part.
gets there and it's loose. You probably don't feel it burn because it's kind of loose there.
Yep.
It just burns through, and there it goes. Welcome to Alaska Wild Project episode
78.
78.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today we want to talk to you guys about tents and shelters that we use, and maybe some funny stories on some that, the reason why we upgraded to the ones that we have. And, the tents that we're going to mostly talk about are tents that we feel are certified. Like, these are legit, dude. Like,
definitely.
This is like, if
Tried
you're
and
looking for a
true.
tent, you don't know, because you go and there's so many tents, dude. You walk into REI or you walk into any of these like big box stores, and there's just like 50 tents. You're like, I don't know which one is legit, But over the years, all the camping and we're going to go run the full gamut from like when we're taking out the family, to down to like, the teepee where you're going with just a couple dudes. So basically that's the agenda for the pod.
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one, man. Tents are one of my most favorite pieces of equipment. I think I've got like maybe 7 or 8 of them total as far as like what I have floating around in the garage that I use, and stuff that's just in the shed
Yeah.
that I kind of like shelved it, and I could probably get rid of it in like a garage sale one of these years, because I don't intend on bringing them back out. But I don't know, man. Then they have memories, dude.
Yeah.
Tents have like, they go on adventures, they shelter you, your family, or your partner. They leak, and then they suck, and then you remember those ones too. It's like,
just like any piece of gear, I think eventually its lifetime fades, no matter what it is. I mean, we do say it's a lifetime purchase, that's what we tell our wives, to buy this expensive.
It's $800, honey. It's worth it.
Yeah.
We're going to have this a long time.
Yeah. But a long time really turns into like 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a long time, especially if you're going,
shit,
you're using that thing 5 to 10 times at least every summer for 10 years. That's worth it. You got your money's worth.
They're priceless when it counts, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have dropped $1,000 on that tent when it's snowing 6 fucking inches.
Yeah.
And you're dry and warm in your tent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, jumping right into that, like,
Yeah.
I used to rock this. It was Alexia's tent that she had before we got married, and it was a Sierra Designs 2-man tent. Loved the tent. We camped so many times in that tent, but it was one of those older tents. I mean, it's probably from early 2000, 2001. 20 years ago. The tent. There's been a lot of improvements in materials and poles and stakes and all that, and even just the doors.
Was that a 2-man tent?
It was a 2-man tent, and it was a great tent for a long, long time. The one thing that I always didn't like about this tent was the door. It had the front door only. So now every time you buy a 2-man tent, there's the side. You have the side with the vestibules, but it just had like the front vestibule. So then when you're coming in and out of that thing, you're like bumping your partner or whatever, and you pretty much have to like crawl hands and knees to get in there to reach the zipper. You're brushing against, especially if it's raining, your back's brushing up against the angled vestibule.
Yeah, the cover itself.
You know what I'm saying? And then you pull it up, and then water gets in there where your shoes are in there. And it's just and you got to zip it back up, and it's just a nightmare because you get your knees all wet if once you open that thing up. And now they've made so many improvements with the side doors and the way the vestibules are kind of sticking out, so when you open the zipper, you're not going to get water in there.
Yep.
So I knew that tent, we took that tent on the Kasugi the first time we went, and it just started dripping on us, and I had sprayed it. Yep. Did the full spray, all that stuff. That works for a little bit.
Yeah,
it's not going to work if you're on a full night, full 2 days of
rain,
pouring rain. Like eventually it's going to drip.
Yep.
So it just goes through the seam, and next thing you know, it's on the mesh, and then you just see the water on the mesh, and then it just starts dripping down on you. You know, and then I had another time where I borrowed Cisco's tent. It was one he was going to sell. I want to say it wasn't the Limelight. No, it was like an REI one. Really nice tent, but
I thought it was a Northface tent.
Maybe it was a Northface.
Yeah, it was yellow, right?
Yeah, it was yellow and gray.
Yeah. Like a 2 or 3 man, one of those like 2000 something model tents, which are good for like 4 or 5 years, but if you use them hard, they lose their like DWR, and then the seams start leaking, and
So I was.
And if you don't dry them out and take care of them right too, that's what fucks them up.
That's highly important too.
Yep. Got to get them dried out.
So I knew that that little Sierra Design tent that we had been using was not going to work for me because we were going to go to the Golcana. It looked like it was going to be a rain fest. So I was like, I didn't want to drop the tent. He was selling his tent. I was like, well, maybe I'll buy it. Let me test it out. You know. One of those moves.
A test drive?
Yeah, let me see what this thing, make sure this thing's certified, right? Before I buy it. He was totally cool with that. But it had the same like front entrance thing, which, you know, I didn't know any better. Or maybe they hadn't really come out with the new style, or I don't know. Anyway, so we took it in day one of the Golcana before we even start, you know. We're like at Paxson Lake still. And it's pouring rain, dude, and I'm by myself in that thing, dude, and I just wake up to just drip, 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 drip on my face, dude. I was so upset. I like take a video of it just like dripping on me, and I send it to him. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think I'm gonna buy this, you know. So then the rest of the trip, because I didn't have room to go in anyone else's tent, I would have to like wait till everyone's set up. We would set up like the bug net tipi, or not tipi, but like the cook tent. Yeah, and then I would put my tent in there at night so I wouldn't get wet, you know, the double tent. Yep. And of course I sent a picture of that. The tent over the tent? Yeah, the tent over the tent, you know, so I wouldn't get wet. So then after that, I was like, all right.
I'm sure that was a good tent in its day.
Yes.
But it just wasn't inserted no more.
Yeah. So I don't know. He ended up selling to some poor soul.
Poor sap.
Somebody
Still
got
wet
it
to this day.
So then the hard research just, you know, began.
Yeah.
You know, on like what's the 2-man tent that I'm gonna want? Because obviously I like that for when I just go with Mateo or by myself or with Alexia. And I was really looking at the Hillebergs, which are really excellent tents.
Those are badass tents.
Really excellent tents. Always heard lots of good things.
Kind of heavy, right?
Kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Big. They aren't. I think a lot of them aren't freestanding. You have to like stake them. You know what I'm saying, to like hold it up. Whereas like the Stone Glacier one is like you have the poles and it's in there and it holds itself up. Depends on like the one I was looking at. Yeah,
the one Chad was talking about. He has a 3-man that he brings on a backpack sheep hunt. So it's got to be a big, heavy tent. 3-man?
Yeah, it is.
And it's probably comfortable as hell for 2 guys.
Yeah, 2 guys, probably 1.
But really. He said that he can set up the shell only, the fly, and then the tent. He doesn't actually have to have the tent under it. And so he was considering kind of doing that like our teepee style. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I always knew that, and those are legit. Like those Hillebergs have always been legit, but they're not that light.
No.
They're definitely bomb-proof. But I had put in at all like the sheep hunts and the SEI stuff. Like whenever you try to win something, I was like, I want that. I need that. So I didn't win it. I didn't want to go spend, you know, $1,200 or whatever it was for the 3-man. You know, it's expensive. It was like $800, $900. And then, actually, I'm going to pull the picture up real quick. So then I ended up going with Scotty Peters. Ended up buying the Stone Glacier tent, and he was going to upgrade to a teepee, so he was going to sell that. And I had already done my research, and I was like, that's the one I want. And I got it pulled up right there on the
Skyscraper?
Picture. Yeah, the Skyscraper 2-man.
Oh, what a great photo.
Yeah, that's up there on Camp 360 when I went to meet Chad, and I was up there by myself.
Yep.
And those of you listening, if you want to check it out, this is the Stone Glacier Skyscraper 2-man.
Yep.
Or just jump on the YouTube page and you'll be able to see it on the TV here. Obviously, we weren't able to bring these tents into the studio and set them up, but
yeah, that would have been sweet.
Yeah, that would have took up all the room in here.
Damn, man, you go on the website and they're sold out.
Oh, they are? Mm-hmm. They got some at Barneys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got some at Barneys.
That's all you need to know?
Yep, and they have the, and if you want to go with the Hilleberg, they have that there, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and they have the megalith, like the one we're going to get into next.
He's rocking that tipi?
They have it there, too. Yep,
nice.
He had two of them there when I went.
Oh, yeah.
So I ended up getting this Stone Glacier one from Scott. I was going to buy it at Barneys, because he had them, and I was going to buy it.
I think Scott bought it from Barneys.
He did. Yeah. He did. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, okay. The new one came out, and I talked to Kevin. I was like, what's really the difference between the new and the old one? There wasn't that much that made me want to pay the new price. Mm-hmm. So I ended up just buying the one off of Scotty for, the used deal, and he was just gave the homie hookup.
Yeah, list for like $600, $595.
Okay. So I think I got it for like, I don't know, $400. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't pass it up. So I ended up buying it. Love it. Love the tent.
That thing is really nice, dude.
Love the tent. The way the vestibules, it has the 2-door vestibules on both sides. And it sets up really quick and easy, which I really like. So here's another picture kind of from the inside. Me and Jack took this on our sheep hunt. We also took it on our sheep hunt this year. There's another picture of it there with, on the side of the river where we were when we made a fire down there. There's like kind of a night shot of Camp 360. So it's a really legit, and I will say this, it's perfect for me and Alexia. We're nice in there. We're next to each other. Mm-hmm. But if you got 2 dudes in there, you're going to want to go head to toe. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're not like staring into homie's eyes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And what's really cool is we would keep the doors open and the vestibules obviously down, and you can put all your stuff in there. Like your backpack fits in there, your rifle fits in there, all your stuff fits in that vestibule, and it just makes it seem so much more open. Yeah, when you have both sides open, if it's not buggy.
You're utilizing more of the square footage in the tent.
Yeah,
versus like just being consolidated to the enclosure.
Yeah,
and because then you're just like, okay, this is where we're like resting and laying down and like your body's at, but then all your pack and
we could cook there. We sat because we're in a straight up storm, and that thing is like certified. Like we didn't know that was the first time that I had ever like took it on a storm, and it does come with those little DAC stakes, which are legit, dude. I didn't trust them at first. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're small.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
They're like tiny. Like what are they made out of? Like
I'd say aluminum, like aircraft aluminum, like very light.
Yep.
Very light. Like titanium. They're like
maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, they work really, really, really good. I've stuck them in sand. I've stuck them in dirt. I stuck them in rocks on the side of mountains. So they really dig in really nice. And the tent has a lot of like anchor points where you can like cinch it down, so it's really all the way down to the bottom. Has a really good bathtub in there that comes up about a foot, so you don't have to worry about water coming in from the side.
That tall?
Yeah, it comes up on the inside tall.
Right on.
Has that nice little vent right there that you can kind of see in the picture that you can open up that goes all the way to the outside, and it has the inside vent that has the mesh in case it's buggy. Okay. And it's that clear color, so it doesn't get as hot as it will like with a dark tent.
Oh, interesting.
And it's brighter in there.
Yeah, so it's
kind of sometimes when you're in the dark, in the morning. when you're if you're in a dark tent like the guide tent or something, it's just dark in there, and there's not there's actually good vintage, but that was a really cool thing. Really
vintage?
Good pockets.
Is that a word?
What did I say?
Vintage?
Vintage, yeah. I don't know. Did I make that up? Maybe.
I mean, it's a great word.
Vintage.
I like it. Yeah.
Has a lot of good mesh in there for pockets on the side and on the top. I wish I had a better picture of that. But overall, excellent tent. No problem with the zippers. Able to cinch it down. It's just 3 poles that cross, and then the one in the middle that holds it wide. It has a lot of extra clippings and Velcros on the inside so that you can Velcro the actual outside to the pole if you just know you're going to be in a storm, but you don't have to. So if it's going to be nice weather and you don't feel like you need to, you don't have to. And you can open up both sides of the door. You can roll one side back or roll both sides back, so that it opens up really nice. And it packs down to what? Did you look at the weight?
4 pounds, 13 ounces.
Yeah,
So it's
right under
not
5 pounds.
super heavy.
No, and it's pretty small.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little heavy when you compare it to like running a teepee or whatever, but for a legit shelter for 2 guys to sleep in, especially if you're spreading gear out and one guy's carrying that, but somebody's carrying extra food or fuel or whatever.
Or the poles. I think that's what we did. We like split the fabric and hit the poles.
Mm-hmm.
So I've really liked that.
Yeah, it's a great product, man. That thing's sweet.
As a 2-man tent, I love that tent. I would suggest that tent. I have had 0 issues with that tent at all. It's beautiful. I love it. It's a great 2-man.
Oh, that's the bee's knees, man, when it comes to a 2-man tent for spaciousness. And I wanted to clarify, excuse me, the bathtub concept. Mm-hmm. So it's like what you think. Bathtub has
Walls.
flat with the walls, and that's where you're gaining space in the tent. Is when versus a tent that's sloping down at an angle. So it's your square footage on the floor is good, but now as the walls come up off the floor edge and the angle vertically, you're losing square footage and space. All the 360 degrees, it's enclosing as it gaps up to the top, right?
Yes.
Hope I'm explaining that right. So
You are.
And the bathtub widens the tent's floor width, length, vertically straight up. So when Daniel says a foot up, that means it's carrying or maintaining that width value all the way up to 12 inches. Mm-hmm. Then it's starting to finally slowly slope up. So now you've got that wider kind of space so that 2 grown 6-foot men laying in there.
Yeah, and now what they started doing with we'll get into your marmot 2-man right now.
Yeah, which is very similar in design.
Now, the one thing I do really liked about your marmot one is when you look at that, and I'll pull it up. Actually, not that picture. This one. This is kind of blurry.
I think that's the Limelight.
What I really like about yours is your pole. It doesn't just bend; it has a bend in it. So it has a curvature, and then it has like a 90 that goes like straight down. So then when you actually pop up the walls, like you can kind of see in this picture. I mean, it's kind of blurry, but you can see that those walls go straight up almost 2 feet.
Yeah.
Before it starts the curvature to the dome.
So if you can imagine,
tent.
you're like sitting in the tent on your butt. That curve goes up to like your shoulder.
Yes.
Before it goes up, so you have it feels really, really spacious in there.
Yeah, that's a really, really nice, that marmot. What is that, Limelight?
That's the Limelight 2. It's a 3-season versus like that Stone Glacier is a 4-season. I mean, that thing is got, it's kind of like almost the Limelight on steroids. It's kind of what that Stone Glacier is. But
it doesn't have that bent pole that you can see in the picture where it gives it that more square bottom.
Way bathtub-y.
That square
type.
bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have the 2 doors. The two vestibules, the 2 doors, which is really, really nice.
Yep. Another really cool feature about that one, transitioning into that model tent, which is a similar lightweight backpacking tent.
What's it weigh?
I was just going to look at that. Let's see, specs on that Limelight. It's coming in at 3 pounds, 5 ounces. So it's actually it's about a pound lighter than that stone. Well, that's why the Stone Glacier has more material.
That's a 4-man. Another thing
it's a 2-man, but
yeah, that's what I meant.
It's I think it's just structurally got more material, and then the poles are a little bit more rigid. Like these ones, I think that's where this one's coming in lighter because of the poles.
Okay,
are lighter, and they are very, very light. But dude, like if that thing gets into some like catastrophic gale force hurricane shit at 6,000 feet. Yeah. I mean, I probably trust the Stone Glacier in terms of its construction with those poles and with some tie downs versus this one where it's got some flat edges. So I think this is maybe more prone to catching wind if it's right. Like hitting this direct side.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
On that side right there.
On that side, yeah. So it's kind of
I will say
questionable in that sense, but
those Stone Glacier poles are stout. They're stout, and they're not like the little thin. They're like even like on the Cabelas guide tent, like they're kind of thin, but those are like a little bit thicker.
Yep.
And they're I don't know whatever that material is, titanium or whatever it is.
Yeah, we could probably look it up.
Carbon fiber, or I don't know what they're using.
They're not carbon fiber, no, but
I want to say
it's aluminum.
But it is like the string that they use that connects.
They're DAC poles.
Okay, so they're DAC poles too. Yep. I mean, they're legit awesome. Yep. Awesome. And just the little features in there. And also, and what makes it that 4-man inside, because I didn't know this.
2-man.
I mean 4-season.
There it is.
Sorry, not 4-man. You definitely cannot fit 4 men in there.
It'd be tight.
It has inside on both sides where your foot or your head is, it has like a cross wire. It's like a really tough string or wire that is supposed to be for snow weight.
Oh, it's like pulling against itself to
just keep that stoutness, so you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the smash.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here in the view, and the cords go across, and you got the vent in the middle, right? Or that little circular, vent thing or whatever in the middle.
Yes,
man, what like well thought out design on that tent as far as like for structural integrity in the wind, the vestibules, the bathtub, the crisscross reinforcement for the snow, and the vent. I mean, you start getting like quick temperature swings. You get some like mouth breathing going in there, and it gets so steamy and like just humid.
It'd be nice if they had like 2 vents, because I always feel like you can get the wind kind of flowing through there. You know, if they had like another one of those circle things on the other side.
Yeah.
And also in that little circle thing, it has like a little like mini pole that you can like prop it up so it stays open.
Oh, so you can get a little air.
Going in
flowing,
there.
It can.
Yeah. So that's a nice little touch.
Way cool design. Yeah, like I said, like that in the Limelight is like the Limelight's just a good entry level / solid, like for the price point. What does that thing come in at? That 2 is,
and it's very similar to the.
It's only like $350 or something like that.
And that Limelight, because I was looking at those too, it's really similar to the one that Cisco upgraded to, the Tungsten.
Tungsten's another model like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost the same, different color, maybe almost the same though, like almost identical.
Yeah, so the Limelight has that bathtub versus the octagon style of the tungsten. Yeah, which is a good one. But I was trying to maximize my thought process on that was trying to maximize space for 2 people, specifically me and my wife.
Yeah,
for our backpacking trips, and it fits the bill, and it wasn't crazy expensive. I want to say it was like $250, I think.
Yeah, so like half the price of the SG.
I mean, and I don't know that I would trust this thing. I mean, I'd take that sheep hunting. I'd take it. I'd go for it. But the SG is like designed for it.
Yeah.
And for the snow and the whole thing, like this, I'd be pretty sketched out if I was sitting up there and there was like snow falling like by the inches per hour.
And then I don't know if the Limelight one, but the SG Rainfly goes all the way down to the ground. Like if you wanted to. It's just going to like all the way down.
Just sucks. Like
if you want
there's no tent exposed underneath the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. Or up. And it has a lot of room to go up, even like a foot, I want to say, in case it's hot and you want some airflow going through there.
Oh, wow.
Like you're not worried about the rain.
Sure. Yeah, if it's kind of hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a great product. I'm pretty stoked about that Stone Glacier. I haven't crashed in it with you yet, but
we'll get there, bud.
Yeah, one of these years we'll give it a shot. And, you know, we've been so tipi, you know, committed, if you will.
Yeah.
That, you know, I was like, well, we don't need a tent.
Yeah.
You know, and then you guys did the tent last year, and now you've done 2, you know, both. I mean.
Yeah, I personally prefer the tipi.
Lean toward the tipi, yeah.
Just the amount of space. The amount of space you have in that thing, dude, is just insane.
Oh, yeah, with 2 dudes?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's a 4-man.
It is considered a 4-man.
Technically.
Yeah.
Those megalites.
Yeah. Let's take a quick shout out to the sponsors, and we'll come back and jump into the Megalight.
Barney's Sports Chalet,
supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. Barneys specializes in supplying hunters with the absolute best Alaskan-proven gear on the market for some of nature's most rugged and demanding terrain. Whether you're headed to the remote volcanic islands of the Alaska Peninsula in search of a brown bear, or the shale-infested glacial valleys of the Brooks Range for Dall sheep, it is critical you choose the right gear for your dream hunt. Don't miss Barneys' exclusive brand, Frontier Gear of Alaska, tested from the high mountains of Tajikistan to the extreme conditions of Alaska. These products were designed for high performance and durability. Frontier Gear was derived from decades of experience hunting big game in Alaska. Paired with other top brands, it provides you the absolute best gear selection anywhere in the world. Stop in at Barney's Sports Chalet in Anchorage on Northern Lights or check out their custom website and reference tool at barneysports.com.
Arbor Capital. Arbor Capital is based in Anchorage, Alaska, and it's your go-to wealth management company. Arbor Capital is at the forefront of digital assets and cryptocurrencies. If you've been looking to invest your hard-earned money or you just want to learn more about crypto, blockchain technology, or digital investments, give their website arborcapital.io a visit. What's great about Arbor is they provide a low-cost, transparent, research-based investment strategy for digital assets and traditional investments as well. arborcapital.io is your first step in putting your money to work. Let one of Arbor's investment professionals walk you through your options for financial growth and security. Start investing for the future today at arborcapital.io. Arbor Capital, your Alaska digital asset company.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience. At Total Truck, you can find brands such as ARE, RSI Smart Caps, Goose Gear, iCamper, Front Runner, Rigid Lights, Rhino Linings bed liners, and everything you need to outfit your truck or SUV. Alaska Overlander provides 4x4 vehicles and expedition trailers, custom modified for Alaskan adventures and outfitted with rooftop tents, fridges, and all the camping and cooking gear you need to start exploring. Visit them at alaskaoverlander.com.
So our first sheep hunt that we went on, we
had 3 tents.
We each had our own tent, which was not the smartest. And then we realized after that we went full.
Oh, no, hold on. Rewind. We had 2 tents and a teepee. So.
We did? I brought my tent. You brought your tent. And
no, because you and Cisco shared a tent.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
And I stayed in the tent.
Oh, yeah. We brought the teepee because we weren't sure about that. We're like, we don't know. We better bring the tent just in case, and we can just do our gear in there is what we were thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. TP was going to just be like storage, cooking, making coffee.
Yeah.
Like a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next year, we're like, okay, we're going full teepee.
Yeah.
And up on the screen, I actually have a picture of a separate one, but the same teepee in the same area where we went.
Do you have a photo of that first trip?
I'm sure I do.
With the 3 of them?
Yeah, I do.
Actually, you have that.
I have a video.
You have that badass photo, I think, in your house.
No, that's this one.
Oh, that's that one? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's this one. That's like, so this is the 2. This is so we ended up, and this is, a while back, and there's been a lot of new companies that have been coming with teepees. Yeah. I want to say back then, the only real option was Kifaru, which had their array of tents, and then you start looking at, we started looking at Black Diamond, real mountaineering tents that people were using. So we ended up starting to purchase the Megalith, which you have one, Cisco has one, and I'm going to kind of scroll through some of these pictures, and this one here, you can just see how we set up the teepee. It's like you said, it's really light. What was the weight on it? Sub 2 pounds?
Yeah, I want to say it's 1.8 pounds pack weight with the
carbon fiber pole.
Stakes.
And the little stakes.
Yeah.
So with that, like, we have slept 3 people in there. We set it up. We put the pole in, and we kind of slide the pole to one side so 2 dudes would come. So the only thing that the
correction, 2 pounds 13 ounces.
Okay, so right under 3 pounds.
Yep.
Which is still 2 pounds lighter than.
Oh yeah, no, it's
the other tent. but way bigger. I think we found our money's worth when you're socked in. You're in there when we went on that one hunt, and we're socked in there for 2-3 days, and you'll just, if you're in one of them little tents, dude, it's ridiculous. Like you got nowhere to move, you got nowhere to do anything. You can barely sit up without putting your head on the top of the tent. Whereas these, you got so much room in there, and then you put your little pad down, or your tarp down, and so here's another really good picture when it's like really ideal for 2 people, and you can kind of see there where you have the pole in the middle, and you got one guy on one side of the pole, one guy on the other side of the pole, and then you have all your gear in there. That's a really good picture right there. It's kind of from the top view. Now, Megalith Black Diamond, as you can see in this picture, that was a real rainstorm, and it's kind of sagging. The sides are kind of sagging, so they improved that material so that it doesn't do that anymore. And they added guy lines all around a little bit higher up, so that you could tighten it down. This is a really nice, good picture right here of us 4 in it. It's definitely perfect. This is a trip. We're in the Brooks Range, and just like the weather came in, we're in mid-hike mode between one valley to another valley, and it just started pouring.
Look at the faces.
Yeah. I remember how socked in it was. It was just like,
that was a brutal.
You couldn't see 5 feet in front of you.
Brutal day, actually, man.
So when it gets to that, you don't want to set up the tent. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't have the tent actually, but you set this teepee up real quick, and you can go in there. You can keep your boots on because there's no floor, and you can see there's plenty of room for all 4 of us in there. We're all sitting up. We're all got plenty of space in there.
Scotty's stitching his pants or something.
Yeah, he was doing something there. Yeah.
No, that's funny. I was just looking at Cisco's face and how much fun he's having.
Does it give the space how wide it is? Like the dimensions, the square footage of the bottom.
Yeah, it certainly does.
I want to say it's 72.
81 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah, 7.2 meters.
81 square feet.
Yep. Usable floor space is 50.7 square feet.
Okay. And you can half stand up in there. I would say it's just under 6 feet, maybe 5'9".
No, it's not that tall.
You don't think it's that tall?
No.
5'6"?
Yeah, tops.
Okay.
Yeah, at the center.
But it just makes it seem like you have vaulted ceilings.
Yeah, I think it's 60 inches.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it pops up in a second, dude. Especially the new one now. You just do the four corners really quick, and then you just pop that thing up.
That's all the old one was.
Okay, was it?
Original. Yeah.
Okay. But this tent is 100% certified. We have been in this thing in straight up top of the mountain, monsoon, ripping gale force winds, and you will think that this thing is going to fly away because that thing will get to shaking and that pole holds steady, and you won't be able to sleep because it's so loud with that wind. Just, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to hold steady, and you can cinch it all the way down to the ground. So if it's you don't want any wind in there and the weather's really, really crazy, you're not too worried about getting airflow in there, you can cinch it all the way down, or you can have a big gap of up to a foot, I want to say, where
you can elevate it.
Up. And to some people, that might be a little weird because I don't know what you think, because you can kind of look down and look out of the tent. But man, it's really nice if it's hot. You know what I'm saying? If you really need airflow in there and you're trying to dry stuff out, especially if it's raining, but it's still a little breeze and you want to dry stuff out, and you can hang stuff up in there and let the wind flow through there. And then what we do if we have it set up like that, a lot of times we will create some sort of wind barrier, at least kind of by your head. I'll put the pack in there, set up all your extra bags or your food, and I think we've even on the outside did a rock.
Yeah, almost like a rock seal around it.
Yeah, to keep it
wall,
just to block the wind from coming in there.
Yeah.
Because you want some ventilation, but not, 30-mile-an-hour winds coming through the bottom.
Yep. Yeah, another really cool thing about that teepee, when I was telling Dana Wright about using those black diamonds. This is the photo. Dude, I want to be able to send this to you so you could actually set it up. Let me see if I can actually send this to you real quick. So he told me that they use the megalith. All flummy tonight.
Oh, in the snow, and they built
in
down
the wintertime.
Yeah,
yeah, and they dug down like 3 feet.
So then you could stand up in there.
Yeah, and you kept the center like pinnacled up like 2.5, 3 feet.
Yep.
And then that would stick up, and then you could sit down in it.
Yeah.
And then 4 people could get like down in there.
Yes.
And it made one hell of a shelter.
Almost like igloo style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
You just dig out like the round area and keep the middle high and the side so you could sit in there too.
Yep.
Yeah. That's definitely good for that.
Pretty neat.
So the upgrade, and as I was looking to purchase this, now you can get that old megalith. I want to say it's like $269, dude. It's on sale.
Oh, really?
It's like $100 less than the new one. I want to say Barneys has it for like $349 or $369 for the new one.
Is that what it is now? It's almost $400.
Yeah, with the pole. And then so here's a picture of the new one. This is our kids. Our kids in the new one that we set up on our little Eureka trip just to test it out. It's all solid, one color, that really, really nice blue, which is really nice because you can see that thing when you're off and you kind of leave your base camp and you walk away and you're going to go, after something, and you can spot that thing out.
Yeah, that bright blue is dope, man. You can spot that thing from a mile away.
Yeah, that's
that.
Yeah, and there's another good picture, and you can kind of see in this one, you can see the guidelines that they added. Whereas the megalith, the old one that's multicolored, they don't have these little clips that are like halfway up all the walls. So basically, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 walls, and now they have the little tie down thing, and it comes with extra whatever that string is. It's not 550 cord. It's like way thinner and way lighter, but super strong. They give you extra string with that and extra little clips with tensioners.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So you have like some adjustment on those bass strings.
Yes, so you don't have to just like keep going further out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's a huge improvement, dude.
The tensioner's awesome.
Yeah, so you don't have to like reset you know how if you're staking down a stake on a mountain or mountainside in rockish or sand area, it's like you find a sweet spot to stake it down. Sometimes that could be the only nook because there's a giant rock under there or something in the way that doesn't allow the stake to bury down.
Yeah.
So with that, you find that sweet spot, and then it can adjust accordingly to it.
Exactly. Whereas the old ones, you'd have to move it and set it, and then once you move one, you'd have to like switch all the other ones around so that you kind of keep the same shape. Of it. So that was a very, very good improvement.
Yeah, I dig that
on their
one.
part. And I also want to say they improved the venting on the top is improved, and what holds that pole in there is also improved. Like the inside of it.
Just sent you a really cool photo of the megalith inside with the snow.
Okay.
Thing that I was talking about.
Got it.
And it just makes it massive looking in there.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's a really good picture. So yeah, that shows the center like barrel, and they even have like all their cooking stuff on there, and then you just sit it around so you're in there deep. I mean, that'd probably take you 20 minutes to dig out that circumference or whatever, but
sure, yeah,
dude,
you'll be 3
in
or
there
4
legit.
guys in there with some backpack.
And then you don't have wind in there because they have it cinched all the way down to the snow line. And then they have the chair, and then they have the feet. So you're like, could 100% stand all the way up in that thing.
Then you can stand up, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick, man. I like that.
What is this, maple syrup?
Dude, they got like a frying pan and shit in there. I'm like,
Yeah, full cook.
Yeah. So it's probably just a base camp, application with the tent there. You know what I mean? Where they have like some small tents they're sleeping in, but then that's kind of like the hangout, cook and eat tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I can't say much.
Retail on that new one's $399.
$399. Barney had it for less. I want to say it was $369.
Sounds like we need to go buy it then.
Yeah.
Damn, passing on the savings.
Yep. So can't say enough about how good that tent is.
Yeah. That one's certified for sure.
Yeah, we love that tent.
Two man perfect, 3-man doable, 4-man in an emergency.
Yeah.
Or temp shelter for a night or a day. But as far as like comfort factor, 2 guys, all your gear in there, full yard sale.
Yeah.
Get it comfy.
And you can kind of see on this picture we're at the top of a thing and
that looks like the Brooks.
Yeah, and we've put some big rocks on top of the stake and kind of on the where you've been putting the stakes down, just so that in case.
That's where it kind of set up weird up there in those rocks, didn't it?
I think that was
the
part
angles
of.
Were funky and
that was part of like you can't find a good place to dig in that.
Yeah, is it you just kind of it would just pull it in weird directions, right?
Yeah.
And but it still worked.
Yeah.
Even when it got gnarly.
Now the one only downfall to the single walled shelter like the teepee is the condensation that builds in there.
Yeah.
Which runs down the wall. It's not like it's dripping on you. So if you have 2-man and you're in the middle, you don't got to worry about it. It's going to run down the wall. As long as you don't touch the wall, you're not going to get wet. But that's, to some people, they might not like that. But I think it way makes up for it for the amount of space you have and for the amount of weight that thing weighs. Would you agree with that?
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it even gets so condensated where it can start to get a little drippy.
Yeah.
In there. I don't know. It's a fair trade-off, though.
Yeah, it's definitely. And if you ever watched our...
It's not that bad. It's not like it's drenching you wet. Because obviously you're like, if you're listening to this, you're like, well, why would I want to stay in a shelter I get wet in? Which is a really, really valid question. Why would you want to do that? But if it's really, really raining out there and you get in there with like semi-wet or damp gear, which is kind of impossible not to when you get to a spot and you're setting a tent up in the rain, and then you're doing your damnedest to peel your gear off outside in the rain, and then
before you get in
slip
the tent.
in there, you're gonna get in there like damp.
Yeah.
So condensation, you're breathing. The ground underneath you is wet, so it's unavoidable. And that's the other thing too, Daniel, about the teepee is that it's floorless. So when you are putting it on the ground, or when you're setting it up and you're getting on the ground, you're putting your nylon tarp down, it's wet under there already. So I think that has something to do with the way the condensation builds. It's just so damn moist in there.
Yeah.
Because there's no floor sealing you out from the elements.
Yeah, and what's really nice and what we've done lots of times is we're hiking. It's a pure rainstorm. I mean, if you were to pull out like the Stone Glacier and put that all off, and then you're not going to go in there wet. You're not going to go in that tent with your rain gear, so then you got to take your rain gear off and all the stuff in there. Whereas the teepee, bust that thing open, bust it out real quick, takes 2 seconds. Go in there with all your stuff, your backpack, your rain gear.
On
everything.
average, you can have it set up in about 5 minutes as far as like trying to find a good spot, gather some rocks, get it up. If you're in the mountains, in the wind, in the rain, and then you can jump in there with your boots on.
And all your stuff. And then you just take your stuff off in there.
Yeah.
So then you're immediately out of the weather.
Yeah.
And you can just sit on the ground in there and move the stuff. And then once you get all your rain stuff off, move it to the side, set down your Tyvek or your little tarp or your nylon tarp or whatever little ground cloth that you bring to prevent more moisture coming up from the ground. And then you can set up the rest of your stuff in there, like you're blowing up your pad, your pillows. You can pull out your sleeping bag. You don't got to worry about stuff getting wet,
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Some other notable brands that sell like 4-mans. I know Seek Outside has a lot of good stuff. I know the Peters brother rocked that. My other buddy Gary said he just got the 6-man one. They have the stove options in some of those.
Is that like an up and comer tent manufacturer, or they've been around a while?
I wouldn't say a long time.
Yeah.
But they're coming with some really good stuff. They have some really good materials. I've only heard good things from them. Kind of the same idea, but a lot of times they have the option to have the stove jack in those, which you're not going to get that with Black Diamond. They don't have one that has the stove jack. Pretty much all they have is the 4-man. But when you go to Seek Outside, you go to Kifaru, they run the full gamut from 4-man to 16-man.
Oh,
tent.
Monsters.
Just huge ones, huge ones. So my brother.
They run a teepee also.
What's that?
They have a teepee also.
Who does?
Seek.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the one they have 4-man.
Oh, with the stove. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about their tents because they have like tents, but.
Yeah, they have teepees too.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, their teepees are like Kifaru style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to Kifaru. And on the Kifaru tip, I kind of already showed the picture of the photo contest win. But my brother Carlo has had for a long time this 8-man Kifaru. So you can see a really cool picture right there of it. I want to say there we are in Anchor Point camping. You can see my Cabelas guide in the back, and he has this one with the stove in there. That thing is massive, dude. I mean, you could fit. It's supposedly 8-man, but every time it's like half. It's really like a 4-man.
From what I can tell, what's set up there is you got 2 cots on each side in the stove, so it's like really just a 2-man.
Yes. No, he has 2 on this side too.
Oh, he does.
So he's got two on this side and 2 on this side, and the stove in the middle.
Okay. He had the family in there.
Yes.
Looks like that trip. Okay.
Yeah. The stove that he has is not a Kifaru stove. He had found a different stove. He had already had a stove, and he just kind of adapted it to that one. But that tent, dude, that thing is massive and legit, dude, and it's really, really nice. We took it on our moose float. Here's another good picture. Like if you have 2 dudes in there, kind of like we did in this picture right here, you are living like a castle, dude. You're in the castle with that huge teepee in there. You can definitely stand up in there, put your cots in there if you want to, get that fire blazing way hotter than you would ever want to get it in there. Here's a picture of us using it in the winter. It kind of gives it a little view of how big it is next to that Chevy.
Yep.
So it's pretty massive. Awesome for winter hunting. Would be really awesome for like ice fishing, overnighting trips. That's just an all-around great tent. And Kifaru's, proven company. Yeah. And I know that in the past, Barneys has sold some of their teepees. I know that sometimes he has their sawtooth, which is kind of a blend of a teepee and a tent. Kind of has like that cone in the front and then angles down.
Is that a backpacking tent, or does that got a stove in your? It's like a horseback.
Yeah, it could be. It supposedly could be a backpacking tent, and it does have the stove option.
Okay.
On that one. Yeah.
That one's definitely certified, huh?
That's certified, and a lot of times with these teepees, like you gotta seam seal it. You're gonna have to seam seal it. They're gonna send you with the tube of seal that you're gonna seam it on the inside, seam it on the outside. That was the one really good upgrade on the Megalith. The new one already comes tape sealed, tape heated seal, so you don't have to like do the whole glue thing and hope that you miss the part. You know what I'm saying? So there's not gonna be little sections where water could creep in because they sealed it themselves at the factory with the tape seal.
Yeah.
So I think that's a major improvement as well. That's a really nice tent.
Yeah, I'd love to see that one in person.
Here's a nice picture of the Megalith up in the Brooks in the winter, or not winter, but when the snow came down, and actually we got a whole bunch of snow that time. And this is when we had 3 of us in there. There was me and Brandon on one side and Cisco on the other. So that's why you kind of see our backpacks on the outside, because we kind of limited space when there's 3 dudes in there.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, super legit.
Yeah, you got a lot of good pictures in those with those teepees. Was that from weekend before last there? The kids in there?
Yeah, that's one with the kids in there. And we just kind of set that up because it started raining, and it's just a place for the kids to kind of hang out. You know what I'm saying? So they're not under the canopy where we're cooking and stuff, and kind of in the way. And we don't want them in the tent with their boots and all that stuff. So it was a really cool, like, just hangout spot, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool and good little trial run for getting it out and trying it out.
Yeah, the quick setup. Just check it out. Yep. It's going to get the real test here coming up, but I'm excited about that. We'll take another quick little break, and then we're going to come back into the family style and some of the bigger tents.
Yeah, we got a lot more stuff to cover.
So we'll be right back. The Treehouse AK, your one-stop dispensary located at 341 Boniface Parkway. Be sure to ask the bud tender about their deal of the day, because honestly, there's always something good on deck. And guys, listen, this is where the culture lives. At the Treehouse, their dedication to servicing consumers has been developed through a lifetime of involvement in the cannabis culture. They're committed to providing the highest quality products at whatever value your budget affords, while always maintaining the deep-rooted principles that have carried them this far. Their focus is on relationships over transactions, and you can always depend on them to treat you with the respect you deserve. Hit them up at thetreehouseak.com, and remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
Tailored Restoration, 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Tailored has an emergency response number with trained professionals available to help you at any time, day or night. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Mat-Su, or Fairbanks. Make an appointment today at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Since 2008, Serrano's is Anchorage's own new generation of old cocina. Their menu showcases the passion and love of their rich heritage and unique family recipes that have been passed down through the generations. Serrano's goal is to embrace and display trad flavors using the best ingredients that are available. They focus on making everything from scratch daily. In-house menu includes handcrafted corn tortillas, salsas, carne asada, and chorizo. But don't take their word for it. Experience their tradition and sabor for yourself. Locations on Tudor and Northern Lights, both with new tequila bars. Check out their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
The Connoisseur Lounge, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. The Connoisseur Lounge is Palmer's first locally owned and operated cannabis retailer. Their beautiful store is located at 226 Evergreen Avenue. The Connoisseur Lounge has exclusive cannabis products such as Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and one of our favorites, Sugar Cookies. And if you're not into the flower, the Connoisseur can hook you up with edibles, vape supplies, and a ton of CBD options for all your health and inflammation needs. Check out their daily deals at theconnoisseurlounge.net, or even better, stop by the lounge today. Remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
So I think we did a really good job covering some of those, expedition backpacking, ultra light shelters. And I call tents shelters. They provide such comfort and overall like morale boosting value.
Yeah.
On a trip, a hunt, a pack, fishing trip, so many different things you can do with them. I think, we were talking about earlier before we started the show, like the tried and true ones that we've been using for years, right? The tipis in there. If you introduce yourself into the Stone Glacier stuff, kind of the OG of like, when you had the Sierra Design or the Northface, or, in my case, I started off with like the Coleman, 3-man at Walmart.
Yeah.
When I was a kid and I didn't have anything else. Then it went to the, not Sierra Designs, but like another like off brand, but it was like a little bit better.
Yeah.
At Sportsman's Warehouse when they opened.
Yeah.
And then you went on a moose hunt or a deer hunt or a caribou hunt, and in the most critical time you got wet, and it turned what's supposed to be a fun experience into an absolute fucking miserable shit memory.
Yeah.
Because once the water penetrates your one place
of like safety,
sanctuary,
good word.
To get out of there, it just like tanks all your morale and enthusiasm for doing the task, right?
Yeah.
And I think I feel like the most like profound solution that made you feel like truly bomb proof was the Cabelas Alaskan Guide models.
Hands down.
I mean, did I give those a nice introduction?
That was great.
Because those things are just, I bitch and complain and fucking cuss and scream the whole time I'm setting them up. Because for some reason, I struggle.
Yeah. Oh, I got it down.
Oh, I know. I watch you just throw yours up, and I'm like 30 minutes in. And I'm like, motherfucker, you can't get the pole. I'm like, I've set these up 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And then it's a bummer, but I know that they've upgraded. The Alaskan Guide is phasing out. You know, they announced like 4 years ago that they were like, yeah, these are discontinued. We're phasing these out.
But people keep wanting them.
Well, I wonder if they just mass produce so many that they have such a massive overstock that they're just still.
Yeah, because they would go on sale. And you know what probably happens is like, oh, well, these aren't selling down here in Utah. But them boys in Alaska want that tent. They can't get enough of them, so they just ship them up to Cabelas and Bass Pro or whatever now. And because you're right, they would have like a pallet of them, and then they'd be gone.
And they'll tell you like, these are the last two on the shelf.
Yeah,
this is all we're gonna have, and it's like, oh man, I better get one. And then you go back in there a month later, and there's a whole nother like shelving unit of 8-man tents and 6-man tents, and you're like, man, the motherfucker lied to me.
Yeah.
But I got one. So, but yeah, I mean, just getting back to like those things have just provided the ultimate, shelter, peace of mind, where they're kind of unusually shaped in terms of how they're octagon. So they're not quite, they're like a 10 by 10 or 8 by 8. It's like square footage. They're kind of wonky. I'll pull some specs on one here.
They're not your typical like rectangle bottom, they are the octagon. And they do have the one door vestibule
in the front,
yep. Which is still big, which is still nice, especially if you're in the 6-man. The 4-man, you kind of got to do like the crawl. Especially if you got to reach the zipper all the way at the freaking end, you know what I'm saying, to open it up. But if you're taking your family and you're taking your children, your toddlers, your stuff like that, like you want to be 100% certain that you're going to be dry.
Everybody's going to stay dry
and
warm.
And the wind ain't going to knock this thing down.
No.
The rain is not going to penetrate in this thing. It's going to be bomb-proof.
Yeah, the dome shape.
Yeah, so no matter which way you set it up, the wind is just going to go right over that thing. Yeah, and anybody that's like messed around in the Cabelas or Bass Pro, Cabelas makes like some like lesser quality branded like stuff that's just kind of like, and I'm referring like that's like a wide spectrum of like their price points are like the lower end gear, and then, but before Cabelas or anything was available, an actual box store was in Alaska. You had to order everything online. You got a paper catalog in the mail, and you flip through there, and you put your notes and your sticky Post-its, and when I had an uncle who ordered one of these things back in like the 90s when they first came out, and I was like, holy shit, man, that's a well-built piece of equipment. The stitching, the mill thickness of the tarps, the poles, the giant stakes, the guy lines are thick. The quality, like they didn't really spare any expense, even though those are probably inexpensive to make in China. But in those early stages when they designed it, like they did really, they reinforced all the stitching and the seams, and they make floor reinforcement foots that you can put in there. Mm-hmm. So, if you want to put cots in there and they're digging into the ground, they're not going to rip holes in the floor. Low profile, again, like you said, wind resistance, true 4-season. When the snow falls on these tents, the snow piles up and then slides right off the side.
Isn't that a crazy feeling when you're in there and it snows? It's like dead quiet, but you can kind of sort of hear the flakes like just laying down on the tent.
Yeah.
And then you hear a
just slid off.
It just keeps on sliding off. So they designed it such that the snow can't accumulate on it once it gets to a certain weight. The way it's domed, gravity just takes over and just pulls it down.
And whatever that DWR or whatever that waterproofness
lasts a long time, doesn't it?
That thing has been like, not one time have I had a leak come from the bottom or come from the top. The vestibule is huge.
Mm-hmm.
The 4-man one, I mean, you could put all your boots and your bags.
That was your first
and your
one, was a 4-man?
That was the first one when the kids were little.
Mm-hmm.
So we would put, my wife on one side and me on the other side and the kids in the middle. And that was when they were using the smaller pads, like the 4-foot pads because they're just little kids. But now that they have become, my son's almost a teenager now, and he has the big sleeping bag, the big wiggies, he has the big pad. Both kids have the big pads. This year, actually, the first trip out, I brought the 4-man thinking, we'll probably be all right. But it's not enough space. Like, there's pads on top of pads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, because that octagon shape, right? I looked it up. It's 9.5 by 8 by 4.8 height.
On the 4-man?
Yeah. So it's 9.5 long. So when you walk in the vestibule from that point to the back is 9.5, and then it's 8 feet wide. So I think, man, what does that? So if it's 8 feet wide, 9.5 feet long, it's like those corners are cut off.
Yeah.
So instead of being 10 wide, it's 9.5. So it has these like corners.
Yeah.
And then those corners make it so the pads can't just go in like straight. So you can like stack 4.
Yeah, like rectangle style.
It's like it's almost like everybody has to be like
angled somewhat.
Angled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, for the wind or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they also come with that secondary door, which is really nice. I always put myself by that door.
Little escape.
Yeah, in case I got to jump out there if something's going on.
Yeah. Pop a brownie.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you go from the 4-man, and then I ended up buying the 6-man, just knowing eventually the family's going to be too big. And now, dude, we have the cot on one side, the cot on the other, the boys in the middle, so much space. I can practically stand up in there, and I'm 6 foot. Mm-hmm. Definitely the kids and the wife can stand up there all the way. There's so much room in there. A lot of good ventilation.
That's 6'1" height.
There's 1, 2, 3 really big windows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to get the air flowing in there, it is that dark green material, so it kind of like absorbs that heat. You know what I'm saying? If it's hot, you're just going to get hot in there. But I've been in winter conditions with that thing, and it's just, like you said, the snow, the frost, it just will not penetrate inside of that tent.
Yeah, those things are true bomb shelters.
Here's a little picture you can, when I went with Scotty on our moose hunt. That's the 4-man tent, and you can put two cots in there.
Military style cots.
Yeah, the military style big cots in there, enough room for you to kind of walk in there, and just that's always luxury and nice that you can fit 2 inside of that. And I haven't tried with the 6-man. We don't have 4 cots yet. I haven't bought the boys' cots yet, but I wonder if you could do 4. Probably not. We'll probably keep them kind of in the middle and just let.
You might be able to do 4 like the mini cots.
Okay, the little small ones.
Yeah.
I wonder if you'd have to do like a angle, like around the edges. You could do 3 and then maybe 1 in the middle. I don't know. I haven't gone that far yet. I know that what we can do. What Scotty did. He has the 6-man as well. He ended up buying the bunk bed cot, the 2 on top of each other at Costco.
Man, those things are dope.
So then he had his 2 boys on one side,
okay,
and then him and his wife right there. So that's the solution to if you're gonna go full.
He actually went
Gucci
with the
cot. Yeah, so they're all cotted up. Yeah, yeah. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I did the reverse. I had the 6 and then got the 4. So I already had the 6. Oh, man, I have a devastating story about a 6-man.
Let's hear it. And they have an 8-man, right?
8-man in that version. Yeah, Alaska Guide, which I've stayed in.
That's got to be massive.
I've actually stayed in 2 of those. I stayed in an 8-man. Well, 4 years ago, I went on a black bear hunt and out in the Sound. And, oh, man, it was a wet trip. His tent was from 96 and it leaked. We had to put a tarp over it.
Yeah.
He was like, man, all these years and all these hunts and all these trips, they've never had a leak. And I think this isn't the 6-man story, but the 8-man, it was the trees above that were so saturated with water from the rain. So you had the rain coming in, but then you had like these like sheets that would like fall off the trees and like, so it was just like,
big,
like
big
a bucket.
puddles.
It was just like boom, like slamming on it. And when those huge heavy water, like when water was already resting on it and those huge heavy pushes would come down, I think it was coming through the seams or something. And Bob was pretty bummed because he's like, damn, man, I got all these years out of this tent. And I was like, well, dude, it was going to happen. I mean, he uses it like 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
Been a Kodiak like for 15 years. So it's like, it's going to eventually, its armor's going to wear down.
With any, I mean, after just years of rain, putting it away wet, setting it back up at home to dry out, stuffing it in the sack. And this thing is not light. This isn't, there's absolutely no way you are hiking with this thing.
This stupid thing. I want to say it's like pushing 50 pounds.
It's really, really heavy.
38 or 40 pounds, something like that.
And
33 is the 6-man.
33 pounds for the 6-man.
Yeah, but when it's wet, it's like 47.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
those stakes are like a foot long and massive.
Pound them with a hammer.
Yeah. Legit though. But what was I going to mention? The one thing that I kind of was disappointed with, when you go from the 4-man to the 6-man, the bag that it comes in is the same size.
It's the same fucking size bag.
Like you can fit, and all the poles are the same. All like the stakes, you get the same amount of stakes, and you go to stick the 4-man into its bag. Easy peasy, plenty of room. Just zip it up.
Roll it up tight.
The 6-man, dude, you got to have 2 people. Like one person's sitting on it, like cinching the zipper, so that your partner can like zip it up.
We'll make sure and get some documentation of that one of these hunts this year, where we're doing the hard, or in the near future, doing the hard stuff with that 6-man. It is a 2-man job.
Yeah.
Like by the time you roll it up, get it in there, somebody's got to hold the zippers tight and like do the full pull, I'm like, man.
Why didn't they just make a slightly bigger bag? I mean, my handle's even ripped off because that thing's so heavy. Like I put it away really wet, and then like the stitching on that handle came off of the bag. I mean, it's still all good. I mean, I love the tent, but it's what we bring when we go on the rivers. It's what I'm bringing when I go on the moose hunt.
Yep.
Like the go-to base camp tent.
It's just rock solid. Well, we ran an 8-man out in Kodiak a few years back. I want to say like 17.
The guide tent?
Yeah, the guide 8-man, and we had 3 guys in there. We had 3 cots, and for heat, I wouldn't recommend it. For carbon monoxide, even though we were good, didn't get poisoned.
Oh, you do the buddy heater in there.
But it was like the buddy heater with the 20-pound can and the dish on top.
Okay.
So it was like not the buddy heater, but the dish.
Yeah.
So that thing was just like wah, 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 like just heat.
Well, there's enough mesh and space. Like there's
it vented out, dude.
There's almost like 8 to 10 inches, I want to say, between the tent mesh part and then the outer rain fly.
Oh yeah.
So there's
the poles separate the 2 pieces of fabric.
Yes. So there's a lot of ventage in there. Like I've never experienced any sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not perspiration, but
some ventilation action.
Like the water on the side or inside, or like you get on the teepee. What is
like
the
it
word?
beads off?
Yeah, no, like inside. It's never ever been any kind of moisture.
Oh no, condensation that built in there.
Yes,
yeah,
0.
Oh yeah, you're right. That doesn't happen. Although I will tell you, we got some November Kodiak rain, and it got damp in there.
Okay,
and we had to put a tarp on it. It was like, I mean, it was just so...
Well, Kodiak's Kodiak.
It was crazy, man. It was like... Would that tent have held up? Probably. I'd like to believe so, but it wasn't worth trying to find out. because it was just so. It wasn't like if it did it for an hour or two, but it did it for like 12 hours.
Just
nonstop
rain.
I mean, it was like water was running next to the tent. Water was under the tent.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, last year at Gary's when we did that Labor Day trip, we had our 6-man and out there, and we happened to kind of put it in a bowl spot that I didn't really think anything of it.
Water collected underneath.
Yeah, and then it rained, and then it was heavy rain too. If you remember, or were you out last Labor Day?
I wasn't. I was on a trip.
I think Lexi and the boys came.
They did. I was on my moose trip.
Yeah, and you could go in there on your hands and knees, and you could feel the water.
Oh, like push it down
under the floor, and I was like, well, I guess we're gonna find out how waterproof the floor is in this tent.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna wake up in like a puddle of water, or we'll see what happens, and never any water leaked through that fabric.
It's so thick.
And luckily, it stopped raining, and then the water dissipated and kind of rain, or soaked into the soil. But I mean, dude, we never got wet. And I was pretty impressed. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Like that was like we're on a water puddle. So if it was going to leak in, it was his chance.
And for the price point of buying a 4-man or 6-man tent, dude, like, I mean, you go look at like, for example, like Stone Glacier's like 6-man tent is like $1,800.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That, and it's almost the same as that.
Yep.
It's dome. It's like octagon style like that. There's some cool features.
Oh,
It's still
really
catch,
cool
and it has like the removable floor.
Is that their 6-man or their 8-man, or do they have both? I can't remember.
I think it's the 8.
I should look it
Maybe
up.
I think it is a 6. It's a
6. Yeah, that's
really
their
cool
big boy.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for the Cabelas, that one that's going to cost you what, $400?
I think the 4 is $400 and the 6 is $500.
Yeah.
So the price points are just so blue collar guy manageable. Or you and a buddy are going to go in on one.
Yeah.
Each
or
drop $200
for the family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
And there's and I think it's simple to put up. I've seen like when like someone busts out.
Do you
one
do
of these
the yellow pole first?
Yeah.
Is that
I put all 3 first. I just stick them all in there, all
right,
3
I got
first.
that, but there's the yellow one.
Then I do the yellow one first. I put that one up, and then you got to have someone hold that one, especially on the 6-man because it's so huge.
Yep.
And then I put the other ones up, and then it holds itself up.
Right.
And then I do the cross pulls.
So the yellow goes above the cross pulls are going to be underneath.
Yep.
Okay. So that's where I get all screwed up.
Yeah.
That's where I get all screwed up. I messed that part up so badly.
Well, I've been on many times where someone busts out some of these like REI branded ones, and I was like, it is so technical. Like pole that comes into a 3-way split, and then it splits, and then it comes into another split down here to split again. It's like, man, by the time good thing it's not raining, by the time you set this thing up, you're just like socked.
Yeah, you'd be in a puddle.
So I think for the ease of it, to me, it's fairly easy. Sounds like you were having some struggles with it.
I just always
but it's the same exact setup for the 4-man, the 6-man, and the 8-man. So it's like,
no, it's the same design. It's just one's bigger and
yeah.
I mean, I'll get past it. It's just kind of laughable how much I fight it, and I've put them up 100 times.
Yeah.
It's like, really? You still struggling, bro? I'm like, yeah, I am. Okay. Never mind the cussing at this thing going on over here. But once it's up, I'm happy. I'm like, all right.
Now,
Bomb shelter.
I would want to give a honorable mention. Actually, Jack has a really nice REI one that's very simple. It very reminds me of Chad's. What's that brand he has?
That Teton?
Teton.
Yeah, the canvas.
Teton. The canvas Teton.
Is it Teton or Teton?
Teton.
Is it Teton? Is that how you
I say Teton. Tomato.
Yeah.
But his Teton one, which has got to be massively heavy as well.
It's way big and heavy.
But
that's the downside of that one.
Huge doors, but it seems really easy to put up. What is it, like 3 poles?
Oh, yeah. I'm getting one for the family.
Okay.
Like, hands down, I'm done. Like, that Cabelas 6 and 4 are going to have their times, but when it's just, like, the casual, like, truck camping, big, open, like, easy, like, lawn camping.
Yeah.
Even 360. Like, that thing would have been perfect because we could put all our cots in there.
Yes, that's the one nice thing about that thing is you could line up 5 cots in there.
Yeah.
Easy. Because it's just that rectangular shape. There's nothing fancy about it. The 2 doors are massive. It has like the awning deal on it, which is pretty cool. But the poles are like the huge, like, aluminum.
Did you have a picture? Do we have a picture from 360?
Yeah, actually I do have a picture from 360. Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, so that Teton is nice. I know that's the one he brings out when he's like with the family. We did the boys trip and we all slept in there, right? All 4 of us.
Oh, damn. I have a incoming message live from the field.
Oh, live from the field? Who we got?
Chad. So he hit me up on the inReach.
Where's he at? Is sheep hunting?
He went out. They went out today.
Oh, with Gabe.
Yes.
With Gabe.
What's Gabe's last name?
I don't know. Anchorage Brewing. He owns Anchorage Brewing. Okay, so he was taking them out to the spot where he took you guys
I just
before.
got a notification on my phone. I couldn't help but look. I got to throw it out.
What is it?
Yo, brother, you sure you don't want to come out to Boulder Creek area? I just broke a lower control arm ball joint. Can't drive an inch.
Oh, so not good news?
No.
I was expecting ram down, but it's not open yet. So.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. He wouldn't. Yeah, he's not even back there yet.
Oh, no.
Well, that area is just like
gnarly,
dude.
In. So you ain't going to make it in?
Not tonight.
He has the equipment to fix all that?
Rescue me with parts.
Oh, you need someone to full rescue move? But you're going out that way.
Well, I'm going to, after the show tonight, I'm going to be in full contact with this guy. If he needs me to come out, I'll bag my sheep hunt and come help him.
What a guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was already leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
Or you guys just joined their trip.
That too. I'm not leaving this dude hanging, so yeah. I'll hit him up.
Oh, shitty. Well, that's that's how it goes, man.
Fuck, dude. Totally.
Sometimes stuff breaks down, man, and it's always at the worst time.
Yeah.
Was he already deep?
I mean, you said area, and it's a unbelievably monstrosity of an area.
So are you going to be able to even get back there?
There's a limit. There's a limit. And the concern that I had was water, because it's been raining so hard. It's all mountain stream. So
did it get snow there?
I don't think so. I've been checking the weather and stuff, and
not that spot.
No, it's been too warm. But
wow.
Anyway, man, live report. That's crazy. Yeah.
Well, there's the Teton. I have it pulled up on the picture. That thing's like one pole, dude. It's like it's 2 poles, like this thing, and then connects to the center pole, and that. It looks like it has these little easy ones.
You got a picture of? Oh no, that's from Weekend Before Us. I was wondering if you had a picture of Big Kyle's cot and his sleeping bag.
Oh man,
what was his sleeping bag called?
I don't know, the monstrosity.
Yeah, it was like
he had a name for
quadruplex or something like.
Our homie Big Kyle, man. Shout out to Big Kyle. We love Kyle Sellers. But he's a big boy, man. He's like 300
he is
plus.
A hoss, dude.
Hoss, 6 foot, 300 plus. Like,
oh, he's like 6'4" or 5, dude.
Yeah,
he's
big boy. Just massive man. The biggest like teddy bear though. Like
he's one of our 4X purchase guys.
Yes, yeah.
We order like 2 4Xs for him and Josh.
Yeah, and Adrian Crispy, man.
Oh yeah.
Eagle River, the mayor of Eagle River. He takes a 3X though. He told me not 3X.
Yep. She's trimmed down a little bit.
He's trimmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do
he
get
probably
those big
benches
sizes
like 600 pounds
for those boys. That's funny. I'm actually gonna look up and see if I have that picture.
Well, you know what I like about this Teton is that cool canopy setup.
Oh, in the front, so you don't have to bring an extra.
I mean, if you don't have to.
Okay, here. Oh, I got some actually really good pictures.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Okay, so that one right there shows that Teton, and 4 of us slept in there, all caught it up, boom, 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 right next to each other, and yeah, that thing was legit. That's a nice one. That thing's massive, but what's it weigh though?
That's a good.
That thing's got to fit in like a freaking.
Oh man, I was watching him and Jamie.
Barrel.
I was watching him and Jamie put it away, man. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, it's definitely a 2-man operation to put it away.
Monster. I'm gonna take a quick peek.
Oh, I didn't take a picture of the inside, man.
Oh, with the cots, dude.
Yeah.
When you can get 4 men in there with cots, dude, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Do you use the 6 or the 8? Maybe he's got the 8.
That's got to be the 8. That
Yeah,
thing is massive.
to fit all that man in there.
Because 8 is really 4.
Yeah. Oh, it had to be the 8 because he said it was like $700.
Yeah, that thing is really nice.
No.
Dang, I didn't take a picture of the inside.
76 pounds.
What?
Man, it looks so huge.
It is huge.
So
Well,
huge.
it's
10 by 14 by 6.5. And its
Legit,
pack
though.
size is 40 inches by 15 by 13.
What's that canvas? It's legit like canvas material.
Cotton canvas.
Yeah.
So it's like heavy material. It's not for like, oh yeah, I'm gonna spike out or do some lightweight shit. That's like, no, dude.
There's nothing light about that.
Yeah, you hike that into a mule deer elk camp for the month, and
Yeah, it's
one guy
base.
carries it, and then it goes out there and or it takes up an entire action packer. Yeah, it is very, very like. That's why I was saying it'd be for those trips where you're back of the truck, you got boat room, you got, your meat wagon or whatever that you can put the big bastard in there.
Yeah.
It's going to take a whole Cabelas dry bag to cover it.
And then
Spacious though.
Yeah. So let's jump into this tent here that you guys use for your moose camp. This is the Cabelas Instinct.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Instinct, from what I understand, is they're like, Cabelas technological advancement beyond that Alaska Guide. Like, so they've discontinued, they say, that Alaskan Guide model tent, and now they're upper echelon branded tents or shelters are their Instinct line.
Okay.
Which are super legit.
On just quick glance at that, it looks like the vestibule is massive.
You're looking at the 8-man?
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, this is the 8-man.
kind of the same deal as the guide.
Yeah.
It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 poles. The 4. It's almost Kwanzaa hut for people that are just listening. It kind of is like Kwanzaa hut thing. Is this looking at this thing? Is this rain fly go all the way down plus more?
What? Yeah, it does. So like if you had
That's for snow.
Snow.
So you can pack snow.
You can pack it down and like hold the heat
and
in.
then put the snow on top of it.
It has like a flap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can lay that down and then, or if you just want to put rocks on it to keep, air or whatever from coming in.
Now, do you guys put cots laterally in there? Like,
yeah. So like if you can,
you can't go
imagine-
this way. Dun, 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 dun. You got to go this way
No, like so it's like fill
because it's longer than wider.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
like a
it's-
Quonset hut.
It's deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
A Quonset hut is like exactly what it is.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. It's like that's like the main idea. And so what happens is you put those crossbars in, and then it's got
Side one, like you can kind of see it right here.
yeah, like horizontal, like
Yeah, you can kind of see it right here.
yeah, it's got like horizontal that go like
That
down the
keeps
side.
it sturdy.
Yeah, and it just opens it up. And yeah, so what we'll do is we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll lay on the left side, the far side. So but you could do two cots that way.
Yeah.
So you could go like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like have everybody.
Is there a door on the back?
Yes.
Oh, there's 2 doors, 2 vestibules, or just a door?
Not that size. It's a
smaller
smaller,
door.
shallower.
Yeah, doesn't seem like
door.
a lot of vintage,
No, not a lot. No.
but that's like moose camp. Like you don't need vintage.
Yeah, and it has a stove.
freezing.
It has a stove sleeve.
Oh, it does.
So
Where?
you can
in the middle?
In the back corner. I'll pull up like a actual like product image here. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I mean that Quonset
Yeah, so you
design.
walk-
It almost looks like the 3-man Hilleberg, but bigger.
There you go.
If you're trying to like get a visual on that, how the Hilleberg has like the 3 arches and then the front vestibule.
Yep.
It's pretty much like that, but supersized.
Yeah, that about nails it. Well, when you walk in, so you open up the big door and you walk in, and it's like 7
huge,
feet
right?
tall.
Yeah, it looks like you definitely walk.
Yeah, I actually want to like share the spec on it, on that part, man, because it is a monster ass tent.
Is it way as big as that Teton?
Yeah, it's 65 pounds.
Okay,
so it's a monstrosity. It is.
But the fabric isn't. It's not canvas. It's like almost
heavy nylon.
Okay.
Like but heavier, dude. Like
thicker denier, whatever that.
Yes. Different. Yeah. Very, very, very thick. I'm just packaging up I'm going to send you a photo of it, but so you walk in and then you go all the way to the back center and then the floor unzips. So you roll it up and then it exposes the floor and that's where you put the stove.
Oh.
Right.
So you don't burn the
floor.
The floor.
Yep. And then you run the jack up into then the main tent opens. Mm-hmm. Now it exposes the fly.
Yeah.
And then in the fly is like a circular, another little zipper, and then you can
put it through there.
Jack through there. Yep.
Do they sell the specific stove that goes with that?
That's a really good question.
I've never seen those kind of stoves over there. I haven't been in there in a long time.
I can't answer that. I have an Arctic oven, Alaskan made tent here. We got to make sure and give that some run before the end of the show here.
Yeah.
I've got that stove that I bought specific because I was going to do a hand-built shelter and just use that stove. Didn't end up making it happen on a hunt years ago, but I was like, hey, man, I'm just going to keep the stove in case I get an Arctic oven or, need it for something else. And I've actually like mocked it up and it will work with that tent. But in the 6 years now that we've been running that 8-man, I've never put a stove in there.
I haven't needed to.
No, never needed to.
Here's a really good picture of it with the stove and the outside, all that. Yep, must be a Western boy somewhere with the elk.
With the elk there. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so that kind of shows where the thing. There's a lot of like guy lines and tie outs there with that thing. Yeah,
and those ropes are like thick.
Here's a really good picture of the inside of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's perfect, man. Yeah, that's money.
So you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 on the side.
Yeah, well, like where the white cooler is like, and the blue bag is like, that's me. And then the cots are sideways. And we put Bruce in the far back. He's got the big cot. And then Eric, Mason, Phil. And then I go on the side.
Oh, here's a good picture of it with the.
There it is, man.
With the
They don't got cots going, so they're saving a lot of space by being on the ground. Looks like they got some like pads and stuff there. That's a pretty cool view, though. That's a little bit more of a.
Yeah, it kind of shows, and it looks like they put another tarp under that huge stove.
They did.
That stove is massive.
Yeah, they put a big stove in there. The one I have is way smaller than that, but that's pretty comfy for 3 dudes. How about that one on the far right? Yeah, that's definitely not it. That's not the one. That's that big like agnac thing or whatever the hell.
Oh, the lacnac. I kind of wanted to give that a little bit of run too, because when we went on the on that Eureka ride with the other boys, one of the guys had that lacnac.
Mm-hmm. Roger and
it looks like
Ken, right?
A motherfucker to put up, dude.
No, Gary had one, Ken had one, and they had like the 2 different sizes.
Yeah.
The one, Ken, I think, had the
massive one because he had his daughters and all that.
12-man or whatever it is.
I mean, look at this thing, dude. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How many poles? 16 poles.
It was impressive. He was able to get that thing up.
Yeah. I mean, look at this one. This one's even huger. Yeah. Dude, that's like a Bible camp.
Yeah. I wonder how many people like trip on those cords.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing with these. Like, you have to have obviously lots of space and good ground to put in those stakes. You know. But that's a nice tent. It looks like a chore to put it up. But, you know, if you're doing a long expedition, that thing's pretty cool though.
Yeah, so there's the that image right there. I think that's the new 6. That's going to replace the guide.
Gotcha.
Right? The Instinct, where it's got that thicker cover and the really thick guidelines and the floor is super thick. I mean, everything's just thicker and bigger.
So
and
are you
stronger.
guys sticking with that, or now that Eric got the
Arctic Oven?
Arctic Oven, are you gonna go that route?
Well, you know, we leave that Instinct tent up at Moose Camp.
Okay, so it's out there.
It's stored up there. Actually, I take that back. I have the tent, but I leave the poles and the stakes at camp. So the weight really is in that hardware. I mean, the canopy is massively heavy, but I can stick it in a big Cabelas dry bag, and then I have the poles for my cook tent and my tent are at camp.
Got it.
They fold down and go into an action packer, zip tied and duct taped and visqueen bag, and like it's crazy packed up. And then I bring the tent back out so I can dry it.
Sort of. I mean, a lot of people do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, their designated moose camp where they've been going for years, stash things.
Yeah.
It's not legal.
No.
You're not supposed to do that.
No, we know that too.
Okay, everybody knows that, but it's one of those things that
you ain't going to find our shit though.
And everyone, exactly. And the same thing with, I'm not mentioning names, but everyone I know that has their moose camp has something stashed. And when we used to go back in the day to our moose stuff in Eureka, we kept our stuff stashed, wrap it up in a tarp. Some people use barrels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be
because
cool
the thing is, like, you get some
there.
critters in there, you get some shrews or something there, and nibble up on that tent.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah. You got to have it in a hard case. Yeah, we bring the tent itself out because a lot of times it's wet. So I roll it all up.
That's what you said. Okay,
yeah, and I bring it home so I can air it out in the garage and open it up and then clean it or whatever and stitch it or repair it if it needs. And then throw it in a dry bag for the winter or, for the off season, and then we haul it back out. But it saves a lot of weight when you leave the poles, and the poles are kind of
long and weighty.
Yeah, and actually, believe it or not, the poles in this fold down really small.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the poles are like a 4-piece section that are, all like maybe 18 inches.
Yeah.
So when you pack them all down and you put it in the bag, it actually can fit in an action packer. And that's what's cool is we got a lot of gear in action packers. So we got the action packer, which clamps with its red clasps on the side, then zip tie it. So now they can't open. And then, action packer plastic is pretty tough for a little set of teeth to like get in there. So we haven't had that trouble. Knock on wood. Yeah. But, so it works out really good. And we have a really dope REI. Man, I can't remember the name of it. I sent you a picture of it. Our cook tent.
Oh, I got it here.
Yeah. It's a, it's like, so what I was looking for was like that 10x10 canopy that we all have for car camping. Which is a great solution for keeping you out of the weather, shade from the sun.
Does that have the ability to have all walls?
No,
it's just on two sides.
Right. So,
okay.
I think what I could do is purchase another. Well, at the time, the alcove is what that's called. Just came to me. The walls.
That's nice.
We pretty much just decide where the wind's coming from, and then we'll shift that wall around.
Gotcha.
And it's nice to have it open. Because then you got an entrance on both sides, and then
you guys have a nice setup there with the table and all that stuff.
Yep,
that's really nice.
Yeah, we've actually upgraded to 2 lifetime tables side by side now, so there's an immense amount of flat surface space for, 5 different barbecue sauces and ranch and just
all the condiments.
Yeah, they don't call Phil Haas the sauce boss for no reason. You know what I mean?
The sauce boss.
Shout out to Haas, the sauce boss. This dude brings like every condiment, sauce, hot sauce, barbecue sauce, mayonnaise, mayo, out there. And it's our coffee station. It's our cook station. We got chairs that set up in there. And that's just a nice spot in the morning. You get out of the tent, you walk down the little trail, you pop in there. We've got some nice camp chairs in there. I'll get the water going for coffee. You know, you're stretching out your legs, tying up your boots, crushing a little oatmeal, you know, hit the spliff, just kind of get things rolling for your day. And just, you know, you got this little, and it's not really like really out of the elements. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's just enough.
It's just enough. Yeah.
And is it, do you find it's like sturdier than a canopy?
No.
Okay, no.
No, it's definitely not. So it's like a
definitely way lighter.
Telescopic. No, not telescopic because that folds into itself. It's like a tent pole.
Okay.
All right. So you got to piece the frame together, and it's color coded. So you got to put it together. And what's really critical is you got to tie it down on those corners, which is
to cinch it. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. And we've had the wind kind of tear that thing up a little bit.
Yeah.
You'll wake up in the middle of the night and the wind's just howling, and you're compelled to get up and go check on that because no matter however which ways we've like tied it down, like it seems to always kind of like loosen up.
Yeah.
So everybody just kind of takes a turn getting up and going out there and like, oh shit, you know, tighten this down. And next guy gets up to go pee, you know, he goes out there and checks it and makes sure it's not rolling down the hill. Haven't had that happen yet, but yeah, that's a pretty cool little setup, and it's lightweight. You know, I'd love to bring the 10 by 10 canopy in, but that's kind of cumbersome and takes up a lot of space. This one, again, is the poles and stakes and stuff stay up there, and then I just roll up that little, which is nothing. Yeah. And I bring it back and dry it out, and it's been pretty tried and true over the years. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we love our setup out there.
Let's end it off on like the most probably the triedest, truest like Alaska tent you could get is, and I don't think there's a dispute that the Arctic Oven is
hard to argue that
the ultimate Alaska tent. You know, and they have different sizes. They have slightly different shaped ones. They have ones with wood stoves, and now they have ones with propane stoves, which is insane, which is really cool. I was on the moose / caribou last year with Chad, and two of his buddies, they both had one of the guys had his family out there with his Arctic Oven, and that thing was amazing. It was him and his two daughters. They did the double bunk, cot, and then him and his wife. And in the center, they had the gas stove, which I believe is this one. Okay.
Oh, no way.
You see that?
There's no firewood.
There's no firewood. That's cool. They put that cookie sheet in there. Yeah, so that runs a line to a propane tank, which is outside of the tent.
Man,
and it trickles.
That's a good idea.
It's just like you can set the heat, dude, to exactly what you want it to be. So like you go in there, it's exactly 72 or whatever it was. Yeah. And it's just sipping on that propane. That thing is amazing. But you know what I'm saying, you're paying premium price. That thing you ain't buying one for less than $1,800.
Oh, I was thinking with the stove, it's probably a $5,000 purchase.
Yes, probably.
Realistically, yeah, because I think the tents are like pushing $3,000.
But you feel the material, like I always check them out. You feel the material of that thing. It's just like the thickest, like I don't know what it is.
Oh no, those things are the truth.
And they got different sizes. Like here's the 12 by 18, and they have like
Holy moly,
that 8 by 18 is just massive.
Whoa,
that thing is huge,
dude. That's what's up.
Super cool.
Straight winter camping.
A huge vestibule, massive vestibule. And then this is like their smaller, I want to say, what was that at? This Nunatak, I want to say it's called the Nunatak. They sell at Airframes Alaska over there. Airframes is by, where's Airframes? Merrill. It's over there in Merrill Field area if you want. Okay, so here's the Nunatak. Oh, look at this. This is a really good picture. And this is an Arctic frame. So shout out to Arctic Frames. They have tons of rad stuff over there. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. But you can just see like their different sizes of tent right there and the shape. So they have the smaller one all the way to the full gamut of, I don't know how many people fit in this last one, but they all have the legit everything.
Yep. Yeah, that one is.
They all come with that snow skirt thing that like goes to the ground and it goes out another foot so that you can stake that down, and it's meant to put like this picture to put the snow up against it so that, you know, there's going to be zero windage coming up into there.
Yep.
So, you know, we gotta, you can't, if you can afford it, you know what I'm saying? If you're out there balling and that's the one and you're bringing your girls out there, or this is going to be your ultimate hunt. I know that Jake, shout out to Jake Cooper. He might be he's looking to buy one for his Super Cub, and that's just going to be his go-to one.
An Arctic oven?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, hopefully, I don't know if he bought it already or whatever. I think he's saving up for it or whatever. And that's a true 4-season, all around, just insanely beautiful, well-designed Alaska tent. If any of you guys have ever watched like Life Below Zero or any of those shows, that's what those camera dudes are staying in. You know what I'm saying? They're not staying in the dude's cabin or wherever they're at. They are staying in those tents. What'd you send me there?
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to make sure we gave out a shout out to the Barneys, the bomb shelter.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that like okay. I've never actually seen one.
Gary, my homie Gary had one of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's similar to the Arctic oven one, that shape. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or for one of their things.
I think that, look at that. They got an alcove over there.
Yeah, they got the same thing there.
Ain't that cool?
Yeah. And you've probably seen it if you drove by Barney's. Sometimes he hasn't done it in a while where he sets up the tents outside. Yeah. Well, now there's that coffee shop there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's why. Yep. But that bomb shelter is, I mean, the name says it all. I mean, look at the thickness of that pole, dude. Right there. Look at this.
Oh, yeah. That thing says it all.
It's just stout as can be. You know what I'm saying? But it is like supposedly probably a 6-man, but really like 3 dudes.
Oh, yeah.
In there.
They all are. You know? Yeah, and I want to give that shout out because while I've never actually stayed in one, used one, I can't vouch for it. Some of the most consistent and like hardcore hunters that I've known in Alaska, and some of the more tenured and mature gentlemen that have been doing it. Dr. Duclos is one of them. My daughter's orthodontist. He he's got a Super Cub, and I think he's got a beaver. He's got, he flies all over the place. Big time hunter. And he like preaches all day about this tent.
Yeah.
And I know he's had it in the shit. Yeah. Like the shit of the shit. So when he tells me about his hunts and the weather and the stuff that he's going through, and he's always, he's tried and true, he takes that tent out.
Yeah. And as we said before, if you want the top of the line stuff, go talk to Kevin or one of his staff there at Barney's. They carry his bomb shelter. They carry the Stone Glacier. They carry the Black Diamond Tipi. They carry the Hellebergs. They carry, what's the other one? Kifaru. They carry some Kifaru stuff, the Sawtooth, and obviously more knowledge than we probably have on that. Like, if you want to get technical on specs and exactly what this thing, packs down
product testing and all of it.
And just like anything that they have over there, it's Alaska certified. So if you're looking to jump into any of those tents, go out there. Obviously it doesn't have the Cabelas. I haven't been up to that store or Bass Pro. I try to keep it local. So they might still have some of those guide tents or something like that. Like if you're introductory and you're trying to take the family out, don't go with the Coleman. Don't go with the cheap Walmart. I've seen many of them blown over. You're going with the family the next day.
How about when you see them rolling across Kachemak?
Oh, dude.
Just the tent just on the water.
Yeah. I mean,
so if anybody can imagine, the wind is like rolling a tent so fast, so hard. It came dislodged from the ground, and it's
with all the stuff
going across the water.
So if you're really about
straight to the bluffs.
I mean, you can do that, and you can do a lot of nice weather stuff, but you go out there and you're expecting to go on Memorial Weekend, 4 or 5 days, and you're taking it to one of those Ninilchik or Anchor or Homer beach where the wind is just constant. You're not going to last. That thing's not going to make it, dude. So,
no.
So the same thing, like I've said with the Kirby deal, like you can buy the cheap Bissell every 2 years.
Yeah.
Or just go ahead and drop the money and get the good one. Especially if you're talking about bringing your family and your kids out there. Like you want them to enjoy it.
For years to come.
Yeah. Because
you want it to last more than just those couple seasons.
Yeah. And sometimes it'll last one season because that rain comes, that wind comes. A lot of those cheap Colemans, the main thing is that rain fly doesn't cover the entire tent. It's just like the edges. It's like barely on the top. So if it's raining sideways.
Yeah, it's for fair weather car camping.
Yeah.
Is what that stuff's for.
Yeah.
Entry level, quick overnighters, fair weather only.
You know, I think speaking on the co-op, I think that's another item we got to throw in that co-op of ours. That Arctic oven.
Project co-op. Arctic oven is definitely on the list. Or a bomb shelter. One of those. Yeah. For sure. Yeah,
I don't think the bomb shelter has the stove capability.
No, that's true.
They might the new one. So that'd be a good option. So then when we go do those Kodiak and a Fognak and these other crazy ones, we're just bringing one.
Yeah, definitely.
Definite one.
That is going to do the job. I wanted to just before we close it out here tonight, just a couple that. For me personally, were just some good tried and true family camping style tents, in the lower price point, more, moderate level stuff. We were talking about Marmot earlier. They have the Halo 6. That's a 10 by 10, 7 foot tall, true 6-man tent.
Yeah.
4 people entering there comfortably. 6 can definitely go head to toe. That's been a great product that I've used for years with the family. The Celtic Grand Mesa, it's a very inexpensive, kind of more of a 2/3 seasons. It's a lot of net of the tent, but then it's got the fly.
Yeah.
Super light 2-man. If you're not trying to go out and break the bank and you're gonna go roll over into Sportsman's Warehouse and look for a tent. It's a $200 tent. It doesn't weigh anything. It's super easy to set up. If you just want to get into it to find out if you're into tent camping, you have these options, man. You don't have to necessarily go and drop $1,000 on a tent.
Yeah.
And then use it once and realize man, I'm really not into this. And now you're invested $1,000. If you're into it and you really want to get into the real backcountry, I would strongly recommend those higher quality products. But if you want to go car camping, weekend warrior, fair weather stuff,
yeah, there's some stuff out there.
Yeah, there's a lot. Nice there's a huge range of it, man. But those are 2 products I've personally used that for years before I got into the Cabelas guides and all this other high-end shit. Like this, these were items that worked really well for me. Still have them to this day.
Yeah,
and borrow them out and.
Yeah. Anyone listening, if you have any further questions, feel free to hit us on the email or on our DM and Facebook or Instagram and all that stuff. Shoot us a message, man. We're definitely down to help you out and what do you got?
I was just thinking we'd shut her down real classic.
So go to Barneys, talk to them if you want to really get some info on some legit gear, and get out there and explore, man. There's too many motorhomes, dude. There's too many motorhomes. There's too many people sleeping in parking lots.
The campers this year, it's
so control,
many campers. I was about to be one of those.
I refuse.
I was about to buy a big camper a couple years ago, and the wife and I were going to go down and drive to Seattle. We had one picked out and run it back up the Alcan and do the whole thing. But COVID came and screwed that whole logistics through Canada, and it's probably the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah.
Because we were hands down approved. We were going to get one.
Yeah.
But instead we got a side-by-side, and now we're going out and, 20, 30 miles into the backcountry with the wheelers and camping, which is
It's a whole different thing, dude. You're not next to people. There's not a 10 o'clock, quiet
Those have
time.
Their place.
Yeah, they
Campers
do.
have their
Pods,
place.
all those things are cool. Dude, they're awesome.
Not saying I wouldn't have one.
If that's what you're into, or a lot of times it's like, it's the only way I hear this. It's the only way I can get my lady out, which I understand. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone's.
Running water, toilet heat.
Hardcore.
Satellite TV.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And I would say also as a separate thing on the TP deal, like the megalith and all that stuff, like a lot of times you will bring like the little peepee teepee, you know, the little thing, which is legit and okay.
Oh, before we need to give that a shout out. The P tent. Yeah,
the P tent's nice, legit. I don't think it's like, I would rather almost just use the megalith.
Well, yeah, but you can stand up in the other one though.
That's true.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah, but you're going there to squat.
Your business and
yeah.
And I just we had that thing out at Eureka.
Yeah, and actually that helped.
Oh man, that thing was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I have one. I never busted it out, dude. Like my wife wanted one because we'd be in these places where you're on a beach and there's no cover, no nothing, and you gotta
Oh yeah, that's definitely where it makes the most sense. And where we were at the other weekend, it kind of made a lot of sense too. It was nice to just get away and have a little spot to. It was private, but not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
you can still hear you.
It's good for the women. Yeah. Hear the hard push.
So hit us up if you got any questions. That's kind of the what we're using, and of course there's other ones out there. We're just telling you what we've been doing and what we've tested and what we know is certified. And with that note,
yeah, time to close it out.
Yep, close it out. Everyone out there on your hunting expedition, stay safe, stay dry.
Good luck, man.
Keep in communication with your family, with us. Tag us in your pictures and all that stuff, man. We love to look at that and share it and all that stuff. And stay wild, Alaska.
You remember my speaking to you of what I call your overcautiousness. Are you not overcautious when you assume that you cannot do what the enemy is constantly doing?
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barneys Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barneys today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce cards, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Anchortown Dogs, located on 4th Avenue across from the old 4th Avenue Theater. Look for the blue and gold umbrella. From reindeer dogs to bomb euros, they've got you covered. Anchortown Dogs, your local gourmet hot dog and sausage cart.
Crude Magazine, Alaska-based media outlet using the last frontier as a springboard to discover larger truths about the cultures of our great state. Read more at crudemag.com.
Lawn Pro AK, Alaska's year-round professional property maintenance team. Services include snow and ice management, weekly lawn care, and more. Get your free estimate today at lawnproak.com.
Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Lady with a Plan, your own Alaska event planner. From scouting the perfect location to planning the tiniest details, specializing in event management and production for intimate social gatherings. Find Lady with a Plan on Instagram.
Should you not claim to be at least his equal in prowess and act upon the claim? I say try. If we never try, we shall never succeed. This proposition is a simple truth, and it's too important to be lost sight of for a moment. If we cannot beat the enemy where he now is, we never can. It is all easy if our troops march as well as the enemy, and it is unmanly to say they cannot do it.